Antoine is going to be crowned your WOR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship, what a season. Absolutely phenomenal.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to World Online Racing. We are here with Season 11 on the PlayStation, round number 1, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Who is going to take the first 25 points of the season under the lights here at the Bahrain International Circuit? My name is Luke Etheridge. Alongside me in the commentary box this race and for the whole of the season is Sam Thompson. Sam, how are you doing?
Good evening, Luke. Hello, everybody. And yes, I am excited. Finally, the season will be underway tonight, and we will get underway, of course, under the lights in Bahrain. 15 corners around this circuit, and it's one of my favourites. It's one of everyone's favourites. Get a lot of overtakes here. It leaves us very excited and very happy at the end of it. I expect the day to be tonight. It's the F1 tier, or the Tier 1 tier tonight, of course. So obviously, unlike last week where we had a bit of a mixture between F1 and F2, we'll have all the F1 guys here tonight. So in terms of the action, you're going to get the best of it.
Yeah, should be very close action as well. Let's quickly go over the drivers then that are going to be in this tier. These are the full-time drivers. We may have one or two reserves in tonight. It is Messina and Zove in the Mercedes, Dan Spreen and Rudy driving for the Red Bull team. Ecos, Andreas and Obrock. Ecos with both drivers in the McLaren there. Nico and Tomasetto for Aston Martin. Davidek and Jensen in the Alpine. Jensen did look quick last week in the pre-season race. It could be one to watch out for. Jesper Barneveld and Lucas Era for Ferrari. A very strong lineup of former comrade at the AlphaTauri. It is CRG Gamer and Kryptonite. Be interested to see how they work together this season. Line Violet and Reese in the Alfa Romeo. Marcus Towler and Modestrol in the Haas. And finally, last but not least, in the Williams, it's going to be Suku and Wizard. Some pretty good lineups there, and it'll be interesting to see how they do tonight. Of course, no assists in this top tier. A lot of these drivers will be used to driving no assists whatsoever. They'll probably be a bit more used to the game now. All coming together. Should be a really good first race.
There's a lot of diversity on this grid as well, and I love to see that. Like, you know, usually when you see these grids, there's a lot of Brits, there's a lot of Dutch sort of drivers here, but you've got a couple of Poles here. I think there was an Irish driver there as well, which kind of is like a British sort of driver, but not really. And Messina, he is not from Brunei. If you wonder what flag that was, he is Finnish. He just likes to change his flag a lot. But there was a South Korean there as well, so yeah, there's a lot of variation in terms of different nationalities, and there's a lot of drivers that we do know on this grid. There are some that we haven't seen too much of on this grid, and there's a lot of strong team lineups as well, particularly the AlphaTauris and the Williams. I know both well. Obviously both of those teams seem to be quite strong, so we could be seeing a very, very interesting race tonight with those two teams. And I think Haas also looks relatively strong. Modestro and Marcus Towler, haven't seen too much of the latter, but he does look like he's pretty quick this game as well. And there's just a bunch of other people like the OP guys as well, who we haven't seen too much of, which is OP Toma and OP Nico in the Aston Martin. That could be an interesting lineup because a lot of the OP guys have come out of nowhere, but they're very quick. So a lot of things to speculate here tonight, and it looks like we're going to be underway very, very soon. And I think we're going to really, really enjoy this one tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to some fantastic race tonight and, of course, across the season. We will take a quick look at what the calendar is going to be then this season. Starting off at Bahrain tonight, staying in Asia for Japan and China. Quick trip over to North America before the European season starts in earnest. Austria, Britain, Hungary and Belgium. USA, then Mexico, the new tracks to this game. Fingers crossed all goes to plan. Portugal, Saudi Arabia and Imola. Then finishing at the Brazilian Grand Prix, December the 17th will be the date where hopefully we'll see a championship decider there. Hopefully, for the sake of us and you guys watching at home, it won't have been decided. Some really good tracks on this calendar, some that they might not be looking forward to so much, looking particularly at the Chinese Grand Prix. That does seem to be one that the drivers not a massive fan of on this game from what I've heard so far.
See a lot of the guys on PC that have done it. The track limits apparently are horrendous on that track, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys master that circuit, of course. And obviously you've got some of the new all the new tracks that are meant to be coming to the game. I said it before last week, it's a bit of a gamble from WOR obviously to predict that those tracks will be here by November. And you know, we know Codemasters, they can be rather yes, no, maybe sort of thing. So we'll have to wait and see from that side of things, of course, on that one. But we are hopeful we can get this calendar fully correct, and we won't have any issues like we obviously see in real life with the calendar changing all the time. But I tell you what, like you said, last track, very historic, isn't it? Brazil to finish off the season. It's a track we all love, and it's a track that sees a lot of action and also has a lot of history when it comes to title battles. And let's get to the end for this one as well.
Yeah, Brazil definitely sees a lot of action. Hopefully we'll see a lot tonight then. Let's head out to the circuit. 18 minutes of qualifying, 50% distance race for pretty standard league racing fare nowadays. This qualifying session, as always in Formula 1, qualifying is fairly important. At some tracks it's more important than others. In this one, it's pretty important that if you're not on pole or within the top 2 rows of the grid, that you end up starting 11th. Seems to be the idea around this circuit, and that is why we've got a few drivers. You can see Jensen and Risa at the moment have gone out on a set of the medium tyres. It looks like O'Brock and Modestroll are going for them as well. If they can get inside the top 10 on those medium tyres, which with how close the grid could be, might be a big if, that would put them in a really solid position.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult. You already look at the intentions from most drivers is to go out on the softs, of course. They probably will deliberately invalidate, try and set themselves quick lap times and just obviously have them invalid so they can just see and kind of maybe flex a bit. Oh, I did this certain time, but it was invalid, but, you know, the invalidation was intentional. But it don't matter, it's an invalid time, it doesn't really count. But it doesn't matter. I got a bit carried away with that, didn't I, for now, but no, soft tyre drivers will be the intention to go onto the softs. Obviously, the intention for some will be to go for that luxurious 11th place, which over the last 2 or 3 game cycles has been fought over a lot. Like, literally, I've seen people celebrate P11 more than P1 these past few games at certain tracks, which just does sound ridiculous, to be honest. But yeah, no one really has done a lap, though. I think Suku has just started one, and I think Jensen is coming through his lap as well. So people just starting their laps now. Bit of a variation between medium and soft.
Yeah, we have got a bit of a variation. On board then with one of the medium runners, WR Reset, in the Alfa Romeo, just coming through turns 2 and 3. Bit cold rear tyres there, judging by his line through turns 2 and 3. Not ideal whatsoever. DRS open heading into turn number 4. Expect to see quite a lot of overtaking around here. DRS extremely important through this circuit. 27.8, respectable first sector on that set of the medium tyres. You can just see a bit of understeer there as well, coming through at 6 and 7. Then into the hairpin at turn 8. Not really looking like the best first run here, with quite a bit of time hanging on at this part of the circuit, missing quite a few apexes. You can see there, I think he has actually decided to back off after that lap. Let's go on board then with Suku. He's coming towards the end of his lap, flying through turn number 13. Not looking too bad through the first couple of sectors now. He's gone for the set of soft tyres. He could well be a very quick driver indeed this season. I have seen him before. He has definitely got some pace. Jensen does a 125.901 on the medium tyres. I think that is quickly going to be beaten though by Suku. 124.904, a second faster than Jensen, and it is about a second between the tyres, if we're being perfectly honest, around this circuit. So that suggests Jensen on the set of the soft tyres, I should say, he'd definitely be up there with Suku's time.
Yeah, good bankers actually from both of them. Very quick bankers. Indeed, of course, you're looking at the low 24s perhaps, or mid 24s at this stage. Obviously, only banker laps, so there's a lot of time surely to find for them. Of course, there's a few others in there coming to the line. Dan springing it coming to the line. That's a 25.9 on the softs. It's not exactly too competitive. Again, obviously, a lot of these at the moment are banker laps, but yeah, that's very good times, very encouraging times from Suku and from Jensen there. But some of the other soft runners are coming in, Simon and Rudy. Nowhere near Suku still, 2 tenths off, but yeah, good times from them too as well at the moment.
Yeah, we've got the 2 Alpha Tauris just coming around the final corner now, getting ready to set their lap time. Kryptonite's the lead one at the moment. He goes up into 4th place. What can Gamer do on the soft tyres? Looks like he's just having a very leisurely run at the moment, perhaps seeing what the pace of the others are before deciding what strategy to do in this qualifying. He goes into 8th on a 1:26. We have got a yellow flag. I think that is just a car getting out of the way. Let's see what the Haas of Modestro can do then. Just coming through turns number 8 now. And the next one, 9 and 10, I'd say, on this game. Without anti-lock brakes, probably one of the trickiest corners on the game. You've got to be so careful at this circuit, especially with the new handling that they've brought in for 2021.
Yeah, turn 9 and 10 isn't exactly a lot of these corners are their favourite, as I think that's Kryptonite, who's had a little bit of a moment out of turn 8 as well. So that whole sequence going into the second sector up towards turn 9 and turn 10 tends to be quite a difficult sort of run for the drivers. The curbs on the exit of turn 8 also can be quite violent and send you straight into the wall. Sorry, not turn 8, turn 7. I do apologise. And then obviously turn 8, which is fine usually, but turn 9 and turn 10, you can easily lock the fronts up. But now on this game, you can lock the rears up as well. It does leave with a bit of anxiety through those corners, particularly on worn tyres, of course, as the rears will likely lock up more.
Yeah, certainly. This has been definitely one of the tracks I've noticed from my limited experience, I've got to admit, from driving on this game. You've got to be changing the brake balance just to get it right through the corners, which might be slightly annoying for the drivers, but it does add that extra level of realism, perhaps. We do see certain drivers in Formula 1 tend to change it a lot. I know Nico Rosberg and Michael Schumacher back in their days at Mercedes were known for constantly fiddling with the brake balance, trying to get the balance of the car just right for different parts of the circuit. We saw Modestro going into 13th place on a set of the medium tyres. I think he's going to be going for the softs later on. Wizard is on them now. Lars, as some of you might know him, he did put in pretty decent performance in the pre-season race until he had that spin. Let's see what he can do as he comes across the line. Goes into 4th place on a 1:25.0. So the majority of the field has managed to get their first laps in. Niku, Suko, Toma, your top 3. Wizard in 4th place. It's looking good for Aston Martin and Williams at the moment.
Yeah, obviously locking out the top 2 rows there one by one, really. I did mention about these 2 teams. They'll be quite dangerous there. And I think the AlphaTauri team were quite strong as well. So I think my prediction so far of these 3 teams being the ones to look at, it's gone quite well at the moment. But it's not to doubt, still early doors, of course. Still a few drivers still yet to set their lap times. But everyone in the pits at the moment, we're just sitting here waiting for drivers to come out. But yeah, brilliant start from both Aston Martin and Williams, really showing their intentions up near the front. And of course, Wizard putting his time there, very competitive. Not enough to beat his teammate, but his teammate's doing well as well. But Nico, he's the only man into the 24.8s at the moment. It's going to be very tricky to beat that time.
Yeah, definitely. I was about to say we're not used to seeing a Williams in 2nd place, but after last weekend, I'm not quite sure we can make that remark anymore after George Russell's absolutely fantastic qualifying, and Toto Wolff today saying that there is a space free at Williams next year, almost confirming, I think, what we pretty much know. Suku heading into turn number 4 now. We'll see if he can find any improvements on this lap time. Track evolution, of course, will be important, and already 1.5 tenths up through the first sector. So if he keeps this up for the rest of the lap, he could well go quite a bit clear of Nico in the Aston Martin. 9 minutes 38 seconds remaining, just over half of the session to go. Let's follow the Williams then, coming into turn 9 and 10 now. Not even a sign of a lock-up. Absolutely beautiful through that part of the track. DRS open again. 3 DRS zones on this track. This and Austria always stand out to me as tracks where the DRS is absolutely crucial. Mexico, another one as well. You don't want to fall outside that 1 second window in the race.
Yeah, you really don't. I think that's the same sort of vibe for every track, to be honest. Particularly at such a high level where all these guys are so consistent on the pace. We talk about how much league racing has changed nowadays. You look at the F1 tiers from like, other leagues and this league as well, of course, in WOR. And of course on the PC side, it's even worse, isn't it? How close the guys get, and because of that, it just causes all these DRS trains, and you go out of DRS, you're absolutely screwed. But look at that lap time for Suku. That's very, very competitive. Almost 3/10 up on Nico's time. I don't know if this has anything to do with the patch that they had out or something the other day. I haven't obviously tried it, but well, somehow I got the game straight away. I didn't even know it updated, to be honest. But yeah, that's a very, very good lap time from Suku there. A 0.5, that's very strong. I do have to say, very, very strong.
Yeah, certainly. And Jensen, he'd gone out on the set of soft tyres for the first time in this session. Unfortunately, he invalidated his lap, so we didn't get to see what he can do. He's in 10th place, probably one of the worst places to start at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Just behind him is Line Violet in 11th at the moment. In the Alfa Romeo, they're down in 11th and 15th position. Now 12th and 15th as Dan Screen gets himself up into 10th place. So we'll see what Line Violet can do on his set of the mediums. Thankfully, Andreas has been able to rejoin the session once again. Hopefully, no connection issues. That would really be a shame for some of these drivers, as it looks like we are on for a really close first race of the season. Line Violet now just coming through that middle sector, 4/10 up at this moment in time. This could challenge his teammate, who's just bumped into 10th place, might even get him a slight bit further up, so we'll just have to wait and see. He's got no traffic ahead of him. Good for one thing, bad because it means he's got no one to just give him a nice little slipstream down the straight. But let's see what Line Violet is going to do as he heads towards the finish line for his second run in qualifying. Does go up in the end to 8th place. Not a bad lap whatsoever. We'll see who else we've got on a hot lap at this moment in time. Kryptonite, 1.5 temps up through the first 2 sectors. He has invalidated though.
Oh, it would have been very nice to see out through the first 2 sectors that quick. Yeah, invalidated's kind of ruined that. Messina, though, is coming towards the line now. He's still yet to set a lap, 1 of 3. So he's obviously looking for his first lap. Doesn't look too bad, though. Looks quite clean. Doesn't look like he's on the limit, perhaps, as he does come to the line now. And let's see what he can set. It's a 25-0. That's quite strong from him. He's up to P6 in that Mercedes, the only Mercedes represented tonight. I have checked correctly, which is good. And Messina up to 7th. He did have a rather interesting pre-season race. He had a good qualifying that was promising in the race. Obviously, big mistake into turn 1, of course, in that Mercedes, because it was raining as well. It weren't easy conditions, but I guarantee this time there will be no rain. So Messina perhaps has some good chances here to put in a good start to the season.
Yeah, I think we say it quite a lot at Bahrain that the only rain you see is in the title of the circuit, of course. It looks like Gamers showing the pace, perhaps that we expected. This lap may not be good enough to get him on provisional pole position, but could definitely challenge Nico and Davidek, who's managed to get himself up into 3rd place. So Alpine, another team that are looking pretty quick, especially if Jensen can get his lap together. Here comes Gamer, heading towards the finish line. What can the AlphaTauri driver do? Does go up into 2nd, 1:24.747, plain sailing for CRG Gamer at this moment in time. Nico, he's found some big improvements in Sector 1, 1.5 temps. We'll follow him through the middle sector to see what he can do. Avoiding that curb at turn number 12. He is a 1/4 of a second up. Turn 12, and I'd say probably turn 7, some of the corners to watch out for. Many races I've done on Bahrain on this game already as a commentator. Many drivers I've seen lose it at those 2 corners.
Yeah, well, at turn 7, we talk about that exit curve. That exit curve catches people out. Turn 12, particularly on this game, yeah, turn 12 and actually turn 13 as well is quite difficult. Turn 12 and everything, sometimes you actually have to lift a tiny little bit, otherwise your car is going to spin. Of course, you can hit that inside curve as well, alternatively, and it sends you into an instant spin. There's no recovering from it. And turn 13 as well is another one that does tend to really be quite scary for some drivers, particularly again with the rear end, where you can lose that rear end through into the entry of that corner. So a lot of tricky corners in that sector 2, sector 3 sort of split there for the drivers to navigate. And yeah, this track does have a few corners that just seem to be quite snappy, and particularly turn 7 and turn 12, as you said, they are 2 snappy corners that can catch drivers out very, very quickly if they do make the slightest hint of mistake or slight wrong movement with the car. So we'll be very interested to see whether we see any of that tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we get an uninterrupted race. Safety cars can always play a part and could mix the strategy up here, especially if you do pick up any penalties. It will prove to be really costly. Andreas is just coming in to set his first lap time at the moment. Suko, Nico, Gamer, Marcus Towler and Wizard, the top 5 with about 3 minutes remaining, I think, in this session. Won't be too long before we see everyone heading out onto the circuit for their final laps. 3 minutes 50 remaining. Andreas coming around the final corner now. What can the McLaren driver do on his first lap in the session? It's not looking bad whatsoever. Gets himself up into 4th place. We've got quite a close grid at the moment. 16 drivers separated by 0.8 of a second.
And I was very intrigued there. As his first lap obviously in, he looks to be right on it straight away, does Andreas. Obviously had a few internet issues into this lobby, which hopefully doesn't come to bite him back later on in the session, because that's a very good start for him to be up in 4th place and everything, alongside some of the quickest drivers on the game, of course. So very good start from the McLaren. Kind of a bit surprised. I've not really heard much from Andreas of how good he is, of course, but he's proven himself quite worthy here at the moment. Only a few cars, unsurprisingly, are on track setting lap times. Of course, they're all going to start coming out later, well, as late as they can, of course. Some of them, because obviously the qualifying position will go down to like the last second to get them across the line. So yeah, I do expect a lot of outlaps here. I think it's only Simon on the lap at the moment, though.
Yeah, Simon, hoping that car number 13 won't be unlucky for him. Pastor Maldonado, the last driver to use that number in Formula 1. I think he's just trying to get that bit of free air, of course, and maybe give himself a bit of extra time if he's fueled slightly heavier to try and do a second lap if he makes a mistake on this one. But it will be less than ideal to start the race on 2-lap old tyres. Simon has improved in Sector 1 at the moment. Doesn't need to find a lot of time to get in inside the top 10. You can see how close it is in that low 25 mark at the moment. You've got Rudy, Risa and Messina on a 25.0. Then Modestrol, Brock and Simon on a 25.1. We'll see what the Shazoo man can do. 2 tenths up coming through the middle sector. So this is going to get him into that middle part of the top 10 at the moment. Round about where Wizard and Davidek are. Maybe even beating Marcus Towler. This is just how close this grid seems to be at this moment in time. He's only a quarter of a second off 5th place on his previous lap as he now heads towards the finish line for what could well be his final lap in qualifying. And he does get himself up into 5th on a 1:24.897. If you are going to be in the top 10 around here, you probably don't want to be too much lower than 5th or 6th place. Ideally, if you're lower than that, you might as well be outside the top 10.
Yeah, it's a good lap from Simon, though. Obviously, I think a lot of these guys will come into tonight, particularly Simon, because he is a reserve and everything. He'll obviously be going in with not really too much expectation from a team standpoint. He's not going to be letting a teammate down or anything. He's not representing a team, so it's all on him tonight to see what he can do, and he's left his account quite well, as I think Kryptonite has just finished his lap. He's got up to P6, so good qualifying from him. But yeah, a lot of people obviously still to set their quickest lap times. As I'm just watching Gamer right now. I think there's a few others still coming through, though their lap probably further up than Gamer at the moment. But yeah, everyone now coming onto their last laps. Expect some really quick ones to come in now.
Yeah, we have still got a few drivers on and out lap. Yellow flags as all the cars just getting out of the way. Kryptonite showing some good form there. Up into 6th position. Then another man to hit the 1:24.9s. From him to O'Brock, that is 10 cars within a 10th of a second. Gamer, slight improvement. 8/100ths of a second up. So this is quite going to be enough to get him ahead of Nico. As things stand at the moment, he's going to have to do something magical through turn 14 and 15. This double apex right-hander, you don't really bother about the apex at turn 15. It's all about just getting on the throttle as soon as you physically can. It looks like Andreas has retired in the pit lane. Gamer, in the end, does not improve through the final corner. Stays down in 3rd position. Let's see what Jensen can do. Was extremely fast last week. Checkered flag is out. 3rd place on his really one and only true hot lap. That's a good run from him. Modestrol, he's improving. Can he get himself into the top 10? No, he cannot. I think he might have been validated on his lap. He is 15th for now. Marcus Towler goes up into 4th place. Suku decides to go into the pits. He's realised that he's not going to find any improvements at the moment in time. Davidek's invalidated, so he's not going to go any faster. Wizard is purple in the middle sector, so this is not looking bad whatsoever for Lars at this moment in time as he comes through the final corner. Part of the new SXT team, of course. Let's see what he can do. Can he get himself towards the top of the grid? Goes into 6th position for now. Who else have we got? Nico's coming through the middle sector at this moment in time. His teammate Tomo was up there near the start of the session. He goes up into 3rd place. So we are starting to see a few improvements here. Rudy, he's just coming around the final corner now. His teammate over ahead of him, Danscreen, stays in 18th place. Messina is in 12th. Rudy gets himself up into 9th place. Got the McLaren of Obrock gets into 14th. Nico doesn't look like he's improving at the moment, and he decides to dive it in the pits. And I think that is it for this qualifying session. Aston Martin will be starting in 2nd and 3rd, but it looks like Suku has done enough to claim pole position.
Yeah, he backed out his lap like he thought he knew, and Gamer has... He did a 2nd lap, didn't he? Gamer's done a 2nd lap. He's kind of stunned us there. I knew he had time to, I didn't realise he'd go for it. He's gone for it, and you know what? He was very close to pole position right at the end there. We didn't even notice that he was going to be close. So, fair play to Gamer. Caught us all by surprise, up in P2. So, obviously, more positions gained. That's helpful for him. Well, it's not helpful for him, though. His tyres are a little bit older than others, and because he's been pushing on them, they're not going to be very, very good. So, strategy-wise, that's compromised him a little bit, perhaps. But obviously, a lot of these drivers know what they're doing. They're very smart drivers. There's a reason why they're at the top. So it's going to be interesting to see this race.
Yeah, certainly. He almost ended up with quite a lot of egg on my face there from saying Suku got pole position. Thankfully for us, though, he did just claim it by 13 thousandths of a second. Top 4 drivers, all within a 10th. Gamer is 2nd, Nico and Tomer 3rd and 4th. Jensen got himself up to 5th with his one and only representative run. Marcus Towler in 6th. Wizard, Andreas, Rudy and Simon round out the top 10. Watch out for Kryptonite on those fresh tyres in 11th place. He's got Reset alongside him. Davidek and Messina line up on the 7th row of the grid. Then it is Brock, Modestrol, Line Violet and Dan Spreen. All 18 drivers in the end separated by 8/10 of a second, with the top 15 within half a second. Suggest we're going to have a very close race here. It's all going to be about who calls the strategy right. On previous games, there was a bit more variation. From what we've seen so far on F1 2021, probably those that are starting in the top 10 go for the soft medium, unless we have an early safety car.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that will really, really put off that that the drivers outside the top 10 is, of course, a safety car, or obviously an incident, of course. But if there's a safety car, then the plans completely changed. The race has completely changed because those soft tyre drivers, they're of course going to head on to the hards. Of course, I'm not sure after lap 1 if there's a safety car after lap 1. There has to be a lot of like real big sort of minds really going on to decide what's going to happen. We're going to go for a 1-stop or a 2-stop for those on the soft tyres. That's something they don't want. They don't want a safety car on lap 1. If there's a safety car on lap 5, it favours the top 10 so much though. For example, because they could probably make hard set to the end, but we'll just have to wait and see. People will go long, people will go short, and this could be a very, very interesting race in terms of strategy.
Yeah, certainly. If there is a safety car, who knows which way it will go. It's normally fairly straightforward now if there isn't, but drivers might just try something different, especially if they get stuck in a DRS train. A lot could depend on what those cars outside the top 10, what are they deciding to go for on this game? What strategies will they do around the Bahrain International Circuit? First use in Formula 1 in 2004. Experimented with a few different layouts, but we're sticking with the fairly normal one that has been used for the majority of the seasons. 3 DRS zones, plenty of overtaking opportunities around the 15 corners as we look what tyres all the drivers are on, and there is no surprise to see that everyone outside the top 10 will be starting on the mediums. We already knew those inside would be on the softs.
Yeah, obviously no one was able to miraculously get inside the top 10 on the mediums. It would have been nice to see because it would have really made strategy interesting, but it's obviously unsurprising. But Suku on pole position, he knows what he needs to do. I wonder if these soft drivers will try and work together. Of course, they won't try and hold each other up. They know that their race is to win today. And their race win will come down to real teamwork, of course, in a way, because they know these drivers outside the top 10 will most likely be able to stretch a 1-stop, no problem at all. But those inside the top 10, I think they can stretch a 1-stop, but the tyres will be pretty much done either way. I'm not sure if you can do a medium soft tier though, from P11 downwards. I have heard apparently you can do that, but I mean, I don't think it'll be desirable though. I think a lot of these guys will opt for the medium hards, but interestingly, all of them on the mediums could suggest that we could be looking at a medium soft potential strategy here from outside the top 10.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think a majority of them will do so. AlphaTauri perhaps not in a bad position with Gamer in second and Kryptonite the lead car on the mediums, and it is going to be interesting to see the teamwork that goes on, not between the teams, but maybe a bit like in a cycling race. You've got the lead group, maybe the peloton just a bit behind, having to try and work together to make sure that they are on the best strategy. They're all getting ready to line up to the grid for the first time this season. Suku on pole position. Can he convert it to a 25 points and a win? Soft, medium, medium, and soft, medium, hard, the recommended strategies by AWS. I will be extremely surprised if we see any of them, barring damage or safety cars. One stop will be the order of the day as Danstream takes his place at the back of the grid in the Red Bull. Perhaps nothing we're used to seeing too often. Can he maybe sneak his way into the points on that alternate strategy? But the lights are coming on here at the Bahrain International Circuit. We've got 5 lights. WOR is on the way then on the PlayStation for Season 11 at Bahrain Grand Prix. What are the starts like? It seems like a pretty good one from Suku. At the moment, Thomas had a very bad start in the background, and Suku in the lead of this race, unchallenged completely into turn number 1 at the moment. Game of his second, Nico in third place. Thomas has managed to recover ever so slightly. I think everyone has got through the first corners pretty cleanly at the moment. We've got a yellow flag in the background as I say that, and that is Risa and Rudy, both off of the circuit. Can't see if they've got any severe damage on their car, but at the front of the field it is still Suku. Gamer in second, Nico in third, Thomas in fourth. We'll get the position changes up very quickly. Jensen losing 3 places, Simon losing 3. Mudderstrol's got up 5 positions on that set of the medium tyres. He's all over the back of Kryptonite at this moment in time, but importantly, no change in the top 4. Suku leads from Gamo, Nico and Tomo.
Yeah, and I think for Tomo, which is his name, Tomo, his poor start, it led to a 5-wide moment into turn 1 at one point. Andreas backed out, but it was still 4 wide into that corner. It looked absolutely miraculous behind the front runners, who just seemed to have ran away with it a little bit and gone into like a sort of formation. But yeah, he sorted himself out though, Tomo, and Tomo is actually looking quite close now to his Aston Martin teammate, which is good to see for him. So he's recovered it well. Interested to see how Kryptonite does though. Obviously, he is the leading pack of the medium runners. It's going to be important for him to keep in that DRS zone of Andreas, and if he doesn't, then it could be a problem, as Marcus Towler is moving. He's the only one moving down. He's not moving down though, because he's actually moved down. There's some decent problem. So
yep,
we think that's fixed it.
It is not lap 3 of the race. It is lap 2. I had one commentary where that didn't happen. It gave me false hope, ladies and gentlemen. It is still lap 2 of this race. There is no blue flags. There is no DRS until the run down into turn 4 next time around, as it looks like things are now going to try and attempt to sort themselves out ever so slightly. It shouldn't be too long before we do get the correct order. There we nearly go as we wait for Visa to come around the first sector. There we go, Suku leading from Gamer, and like you said, it is crucial that Kryptonite can try and stay within that 1 second window of Andreas ahead of him, because as soon as he falls behind, yes, he's going to be under pressure from the car behind, but because of how powerful DRS is around this circuit, 3 straights with it, including that 1 kilometre main pit straight, you fall outside, you're going to be losing, what, 4-5 tenths of a second a lap?
Yeah, of course. All these guys with the DRS are going to find so much advantage on the straights. Look, they're not going to be overtaking each other, but it's just the pace they'll have on the straights. It's such an advantage, so it's so important for Kryptonite and Modstroll. Maybe they'll help each other, perhaps, in a couple of laps if things do look a bit worrying. For one, obviously, if Kryptonite falls outside the DRS, it could lead to a switch. But the thing is, though, he only needs to go for so many laps on this track, because the soft tyres, they become much worse very quickly. So for Kryptonite, he doesn't need to worry too much about the tyre sort of gap. He just needs to keep it within a second for about 2 or 3 more laps, and perhaps he'll be on the pace to battle them a lot more in a couple of laps.
Yeah, certainly. We have got some battles happening further down the field. Obrock and Messina here. Both of these cars have got the DRS. Obrock looks as though he's going to try and attempt to go straight back up the inside of the Mercedes driver and does claim that position. He is up into 13th place. Very similar point scoring system here in WOR to Real Formula 1. It is the same in terms of 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. But as far as I'm aware, there is no point for the fastest lap. So None of that tactics going on with late pit stops to try and get that fastest lap point. Just purely about the racing then. So Uppbeat still in 13th place, managed to get back ahead of Messina. Things closing up slightly at the front of the field. Gamer staying in contact with Suku at this moment in time. He might be one of the first drivers to come into the pits though off the softs, as of course he did do that extra lap, which around a circuit like here is really going to cost you.
Yeah, and not only that, of course, he'll be falling back as well from Nico. Nico could be looking at a move potentially if things get a bit too wide. And of course the exit of Gamer's exit, sorry, will be much worse, but he's now got an opportunity to take the lead. Does he do so? No defense for Suku, unsurprisingly. He's not going to be worrying too much about battling. And there we go, Gamer into the lead of this race, but Suku will come back at him, and it's probably likely he will re-overtake for the lead here.
Yeah, Suku decided not to go for it, actually. He's not using any ERS, definitely had the overlap there, so it was a definite possibility. And as one AlphaTauri gains a position, another loses one. We said Kryptonite had to be careful to not drop outside of DRS. That is exactly what's happened, and Modest Roll has took advantage. He is now the lead car on the medium tyres. Let's not forget, he started in 16th place. He's had an absolutely fantastic first 3 and a bit laps to this race. Watch out for him at the end. Could well be a contender for the podium. Suku, he didn't go for that move on Gamer, and if you look all of a sudden, he has dropped quite a bit back. I'm very surprised he didn't maybe use a bit more ERS. He's about 20% advantage over what the AlphaTauri driver has got at this moment in time. Just clearly playing the long game and not too bothered about battles at this first stage in a race, which is arguably the intelligent thing to do if you're on those soft tyres, because you need to stretch them as far as possible.
Yes, obviously, he's going to probably opt for who's got the most pace is Suku at the moment. It's a marathon, not a sprint, of course, these races, although they are not 100%. 50% is still relatively a long race. It's a long battle to the line, so Suku, he's done the right decision. He doesn't want to hold himself up, he doesn't want to hold the others up. Of course, if Mostrow gets inside DRS again, puts him in a bit of a problematic sort of moment with these medium tyre drivers, so for Suku anyway, it was the right decision to do, because he will keep inside that DRS now. He'll be very close to Gamer, and, you know, he will probably have a chance to overtake him again pretty soon.
Yeah, we might be seeing the drivers get really close further down the field. Jensen all over the back of Simon. The Ferrari just having that DRS, stopping Jensen being able to do anything. He was one of the biggest losers in the early stage of the race, apart from Rudy and Rita, of course, who did have that contact earlier on, and probably bad news for Rudy. He's now stuck with these soft tyre runners. I think he might have stuck with the medium tyre runners, I should say. And I think he might have a tiny bit of damage as well, because he's quite a long way back off Messina. You'd expect him to still be faster at this point of the race, and he's got his teammate behind him. Let's not forget there's rear wing damage, there's side pod damage, there's floor damage, as well as what they could get on the front wing on the last game. Just make things that little bit more awkward. What could also make things more awkward is he nearly has a massive moment coming through turn number 10 and 11 there is Marcus Towler has dropped outside of that 1 second window of Wizard. That's going to put him under pressure next time around.
Yeah, for sure, it will do, of course. Simon, of course, will be quite close. He'll be looking to get by. Marcus Towler's had a bit of a drop-off, hasn't he, this lap? He's not exactly been as close as he has previous laps. I wonder if he's had a little bit of a mistake there. Of course, that's going to be common with the tyres starting to become worse, but here comes Suku. Is he thinking about it? Oh, I don't know. He looked to the inside of Gamer, but no, he decides not to. Someone who does is Simon, and you know what? Jensen turns around and says, oh yeah, why not? I'll take the position as well. But Marcus Towler is smart enough to get the switcheroo done on him. What he's not smart enough is he hasn't saved his ERS, and he's not exactly got much to attack with as it stands at the moment. So Simon and Jensen are at a bit of an advantage here in terms of the ERS, so Marcus Towler needs to be doing a little bit of saving at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And what this battling has done is it has got Modestroll, Kryptonite, Davidek and O'Brock onto the back of these. So it has helped out the medium runners at this moment in time. Marcus does look as though he is struggling ever so slightly. And Jensen went for a bit of a lunge there. Was able to get the move done initially. Couldn't quite hold on to it into turn number 2. And we did see Nico just feign to move out of the slipstream on the run down towards turn 1. Aston Martin's 3rd and 4th at the moment. It's been awkward on Formula 1 games pretty much as long as DRS trains have really become a strong thing, which seemed to be on the last game where they really hit their most powerful. If you're the 3rd car in the train, it's going to be extremely difficult to make an overtake, especially if the drivers ahead of you have managed to save a bit of their ERS.
Of course, but Nico is quite close, and of course, if he does use his ERS, all these two guys, Gamer goes a bit wide there, could open the door again for Suku. Whether he'll go past this time, I don't know, but we saw it last time and everything. Marcus Towler, when he had no ERS at the front, it compromised him almost of 2 positions. As here comes Suku, he's 50-50 about it. He didn't exactly come to a conclusion whether he wanted to overtake Gamer. He has stuck behind, hasn't cost him too much time though. They haven't battled too hard. And yeah, he's just going to sit behind again, is he? Maybe he's going to go to the inside this time, and no. Thinks about it, but again, backs out. So, no movement done from Suku. Again, he's not thinking about the lead at the moment.
Yeah, I'm almost a bit confused by that wanting to turn 1. If you're not going to go for the move, why try and stay down the inside for as long as he did? As Marcus Towler has been into the pits, clearly not enjoying those soft tyres. He has come out on a set of hards. We'll watch him see if he can catch up to some of those ahead, as we've got a spinner. First victim of turn number 7 of the night, and that is Messina. Thankfully for him, he stayed a long way away from the wall. I've seen many others not able to do that. He'll be able to carry on. Once that he hasn't cooked for tyres too much, we see that happen quite a lot on this game. They do seem a bit more susceptible to overheating and then spinning again, and then you are just in a vicious circle, as Andreas has had an off as well there.
An interesting place to... Oh, he's left the session as well. Not very fun for Andres. Don't know what's happened to him. It's a rather interesting place to spin and lose the car. But yeah, I think he's left the session unaccordingly. So for Andres, that's him probably out of the race. So for Marcus Towler, he'll be a little bit happy just because he will be able to gain a position on one of his rivals ahead of him. But here comes Suku now. Anyway, he's going to look to the inside, and this time he will get past into the lead of this race. He'll have to defend from Gamer, but I just wonder a little bit if Gamer's tyres are starting to go. I'm not too sure. Is he going to go back at him? He's lost a bit of ERS as the Alpha Tauri driver at the moment. He's got a lot less than Suku, but you know what? Round the outside, bish bosh bash, back into the lead goes the Alpha Tauri there. So a lot of battling going on at the front. Not exactly what they would be wanting to do, but Simon's a pretty good gap there between the top 5 and everyone else.
Yeah, certainly. We have got that lead group scenario that we thought might have happened. There was a yellow flag there. I'm not sure if that was Marcus Towler having a bit of a moment or just cars coming out of the pits. We've seen Line Violet coming for the medium, for the hard tyres. Andreas's AI, which I think is what caused that weird moment we saw earlier on. He's now out on the mediums. Hopefully he'll be able to get back into the session and maybe get his connection sorted, as that is Dan Spreen spinning around at turn 10. He's been very close to Rudy and Messina on the last couple of laps. I do wonder if there was a bit of contact there. Back to the lead of the race, Gamer and Suku. We said Gamer might be struggling on those tyres. I don't think he is struggling that much, because you wouldn't be able to make a move around the outside of turn 4 unless you had plenty of good grip.
Yeah, well, obviously he's probably running the grip sort of setup or something. I'm not too sure, but here he comes. It looks like he's going to go into the pits this time around. As unsurprising, because he did have a lap. All these guys had a lap fresher tyres than what Gamer did, so unsurprisingly, he's coming a lap earlier. That will be for the soft-hard strategy, though. Like I said, I don't know whether these medium guys are going to attempt to do a medium soft strategy, since apparently it is possible. I weren't too sure whether it was or not, but apparently it is. But anyway, looking further back, Mode Stroll, looking to make a move on Jensen. Looks like those soft tyres are starting to go a little bit now. And there we go, nice and easy down the inside for the Haas driver. One Haas has had a bit of a mare at the back in Marcus Towler, but I tell you what, the other one is absolutely flying right now, is Mode Stroll, and you know, it's not exactly typical for a Stroll sort of driver to actually be making up positions, but there we go. A bit contradicting of what his name, or who he's meant to be, I suppose, but yep, up to 5th place goes the Haas driver, and he'll be now chasing down Wizard in 4th place, so these mediums are really starting to come into into play now.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. He's got Jensen and Simon in between him and the next medium runner as well, which is Obok, who's managed to get ahead of Kryptonite. And it might not be a racy performance we're used to seeing from a driver named Stroll, but we are used to seeing Stroll perhaps not qualify as well and maybe put those better performances in. And it's definitely what his Spanish namesake is doing tonight. Back towards the lead of this race. Will we see any reactions to Gamer coming in the pits? And there is your answer. Suku coming in, Toma as well. So, of course, that means Nico and Wizard will be stopping out on the circuit. Into the pits they come. I think this is probably still a lap or two too early for the mediums, although saying that, they are the yellow WOR tyres out to Aston Martin. He's going to be very quick after this pit stop. Needs to watch out towards the end of the race to worry about punctures, and Suku also going for the mediums.
Yeah, very interesting. I would have thought the mediums would be able to last towards the end, to be honest. I thought it would be a soft-hard strategy, which is what Gamer's gone for, and he's actually got the undercut work. That's unsurprising, of course, since, of course, the soft tires would be dead compared to the hards. But Suku, interestingly, though, he will be able to get up to Gamer quite quickly. And Toma, surprisingly, has dropped back with Suku a little bit. I was expecting him to be quite close to the Williams driver, but it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Suku falling back, and obviously Gamer's got a lot of free air, so he doesn't have to worry about being slowed down anytime soon, but he will be catching up to Dan's screen, I would have thought, at least by the end of Dan's stint anyway.
Yeah, I think it is crucial for Suku that he gets onto the back of Gamer and gets ahead of him as soon as possible and just tries to build a gap, because I've seen drivers pit round about lap 10, lap 11 and get a puncture on these medium tyres towards the end. I think he might have just gone a lap too early, has Suku and Toma. We'll have to wait and see. Lewis Welch, PC driver, he tends to agree with me that they're not making it at this moment in time. As Nico and Wizard come into the pits, and I think we are going to see the last remaining soft runners come in. Jensen follows them as well. So it is now Mudderstroll, Obrock and Kryptonite, your top three drivers. Davidek just in behind. We've also we've seen Simon coming to the pits of the soft tyres, and Rudy as well. So all the soft runners are getting rid of them, and they're all going to the medium tyres apart from one. That is CRG Gamer, the only one who has really gone for the hard tyres, apart from those who pitted very early on in Marcus Towler and Line Violet. So Gamer's not in a bad position at the moment. Wouldn't mind getting DRS off that car in front, and if he gets overtaken by Suku, again, could be important that he sticks within that 1 second window.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, we talk about Suku. He might not even be making it to the end, of course. And I think obviously the medium runners, they're going to do a medium soft strategy. It looks like if these guys on the soft tires were confident to make a soft medium strategy work, then surely a medium soft strategy will work for all these drivers. And you know, I still think it's interesting. I do agree with Louis, though, to be honest. I think it's a bit early, isn't it, for these medium tyres? And I think interestingly, Wizard had a bit of a knockoff, or something's happened to him, because he was right on the back of Nico and this train up ahead of him, and now he's about 3 seconds off. So perhaps a little bit of a mistake somewhere has cost him. But for these drivers on the mediums that will come in for whatever tyres it is, either the hards or the soft tyres, who knows? But at the moment, they'll be enjoying themselves right now, as Gamer has now caught up to the back of Dan's screen. So expect overtakes very soon, and expect them quite quickly as well.
Yeah, I think it's decisive that you try and make your way through this slower traffic as quickly as possible. We are on board then with CRG Gamer. He's got the senior team ahead of him of the Red Bull, and there's absolutely nothing Dan Spreen can do. He's not really even trying to defend that one. Gamer goes down the inside. He is now up into 6th place. He's about 16 seconds behind Mudderstroll at this moment in time. So that's sort of the gap to watch out for. It's around 21-22 for a pit stop at this circuit. As look at the grip Suku's got. He's also able to get that move done as well. Although Dan Spreen's trying to defend it, not able to do so. And Thomas going to see if he can follow through as well. This could be absolutely crucial for his race. He gets stuck behind, taps the back of Dan Spreen. Coming through turn 6 and 7, the Red Bulls had a bit of a moment there. Down the inside, into the hairpin at turn 8 goes Toma. And that is crucial that he gets that move done. And it looks like Nico is able to do so as well. And you can just see being held up that extra corner or two. Already, Toma's dropped outside of the DRS range of Suku.
Yeah, it wasn't really needed for Dan to defend that aggressively. I know he's defending for his position and everything, but, you know, these guys are on a completely different strategy to Dan at the moment, so not exactly great from Dan there. But at the end of the day, it is racing. You know, he doesn't have to let him by or anything, of course, and I wasn't trying to imply that, but what I was saying is he didn't exactly need to let attack at him or anything, or try and cause any sort of issue, because obviously, as we saw, that could have gone much, much worse for Toma. Surprisingly, he has actually got back into the DRS, so he's actually gained himself quite quickly, but at what cost to his energy, well, his ERS that he saved, that perhaps he's lost. As here comes Suku, past Gamer. Expect him now to try to fly off into the distance from the AlphaTauri, but the thing is, it's those medium tyres towards the end. They will be stunned. They will be done beyond belief. So it's going to be very interesting to see how long Suku can keep this lead, or how far at least can he get away from the AlphaTauri on these fresh mediums.
Yeah, these he's sort of got two tactics to do now. It's absolutely gunny it, fly around, fully commit to the fact that you are not getting to the end of this race on these tyres, as Tomer spins round, big spin, one of the cars who was battling for the podium places has gone around, Wizard's got past him, Risa and Jensen also getting past him as well. Not sure whether there was any contact there or whether he's just lost it on his own accord. It looks like Marcus Towler has had a spin in sympathy as well, so he's had a bit of a nightmare in this race on those hard tyres, unfortunately for him, even though it is looking for his good for his teammate at this moment in time. Going back to Suku, he can either gun it around track as fast as possible, try to build a gap, maybe pit for the softs at the end of this race, or just take it nice and steady to try and stretch for life for those mediums. But then he could come under a tiny bit of trouble later on, as I think that's now Danspreen who's had a spin. They're all going off on lap number 13.
Yeah, well, that's unsurprising, of course. The tyres have started to go a little bit, perhaps a few mistakes again. And some of these drivers out front will be pushing a bit. Bo Stroll, he's absolutely flying ahead of anyone on the same strategy as him, or at least the same tyres as him at the moment. He's almost 4 seconds clear of him, so he has cruised off from this. And, you know, these guys are still battling for 1, 2, 3 at the moment, net-wise, for Suku Gamer and Nico. And Wizard, of course, will try and close, but he can't really close that gap anymore. Jensen, he'll be interested to get past Tomer. I don't know if Tomer picked up any damage or anything from his spin. It doesn't look like it. But I'm pretty sure Jensen will be still looking at his chances potentially. He came in a lap later. So for Jensen, it could be... Oh, and Tomer... Oh dear, the commentator's curse has struck again. Oh, poor Jensen. There's 2 weeks in a row for him as well. Last week in WOR, it wasn't exactly great. This week, it's not going to be good either, because he's got himself damaged this time, and that will be another trip to the pits, it looks like, for this game, of course. You get damaged, and pretty much that's your whole stint over. You've got a box again, and just look how much downforce he's lost simply by that little tap of Tomer. I mean, you can't really blame Tomer. You know, you have these moments, you have these mistakes, but yeah, feel really bad for Jensen, and you know, it could have been a good chance potentially to pick up some good points, and yeah, it looks like another trip to the pits for him.
Yeah, and it looks like Risa's going to have to follow him as well. Obviously, Jensen a lot slower coming through the braking zone, just completely caught the Alfa Romeo drive route. Both of them with damage, as Gamer's now got back ahead of Suku. Goes a bit too deep on the brakes, might be able to have a chance coming into the next part of the circuit though, but he's got to watch out for Nico. Not too far behind either as well. The other Aston Martin seems to be having a much cleaner race than his teammate. Thinks better of it this time around. So Gamer doing what he needs to do, just sticking within the range of the Williams at this moment in time. And that could save him in the final few laps of this race. The fact that the majority of the medium runners have not come into the pits at this moment in time, as Reese has actually come into the pits for a set of the medium, so he's begging for a safety car to happen, otherwise he will have to stop again. The fact that the top 5 on the mediums and Danspreen are still on them suggests to me they are fully committed to going for this medium soft strategy.
Yeah, well, it obviously looks like it. I think obviously you'll start seeing, well, if you're going to see a medium soft strategy, expect them to come in around laps 17 to 19 time, as Gamer has a little bit of a snap of the rear there out of the corner, and that is Line Violet, I think, who's just gone round there. And that was at turn 6. There's another corner really to add to the list. I don't think Suko will be caught though by Gamer this time, no matter what. He's got the DRS on Messina. Fortunately, Messina is aiding him here a little bit. Of course, he's caught up to the back of that Mercedes. Should be an easy pass for him, probably even an easy pass for Gamer. Well, he needs to get past if he wants to keep with Suku. He mustn't stick behind this Mercedes. There we go, gets past, maybe even a triple pass here, and there we go. Nico, oh no, Messina's tried and kept his position, almost goes into the back of Gamer, so Messina loses the 3 positions in the end, but I mean, that would have been very, very unfortunate for Gamer, but he gets away with that one. Messina was very, very close to hitting to the back of that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, thankfully though, managed to just avoid it, and thankfully for the battle in the race, those top 3 cars that have pitted are staying together as he does just get the stops up there. It is for top 4 and Messina and Danspreen, the only ones that have yet to be into the pits. Penalty wise, Risa on 9 seconds. He's having a bit of a messy race at this moment in time. Line Violet, Rudy and Danspreen on 3 seconds as well. Just get the gap to the leaders up once more, see how things are going. Modestroll currently in the lead of this race, 12 seconds ahead of Suku. If he pits now, but judging by the gaps, pretty much when he pits, he will be coming out in some free air just ahead of Tomer. that won't be a bad opportunity for him to maybe use up that set of soft tyres and see what he can do. Let's watch out for him at the end of this race. I think it is going to be very interesting indeed, as O'Brock right on the back of Kryptonite. Last time around, Kryptonite managed to get the move done at the end of lap 16. 13 laps remaining in this race. As we're going to see O'Brock try and get this move done. Kryptonite almost faints as if he is going to defend. In the end, I think he realises there's not a lot of point doing so. O'Brock down the inside retakes that second position. Although these guys are battling, it's not really holding them up too much because they are nice and clean DRS passes, of course. As Wizard, he's now got past Messina, and you know what? He's nearly back into the DRS range of that car's ahead of him.
Yeah, it's really battling out front. They've been battling quite aggressively. I think Nico's going to be trying to make a move on Gamer. Doesn't work out. Gamer actually breaks a little bit later there than both Suku and Nico. So obviously Gamer wants to keep that P2. He doesn't want to move down to third place because P3 is the worst place to be in. But Nico... Oh, there's a spinner! It's Gamer! He's gone round! And we said about this curb already in qualifying, and there he goes. And all this long, those top three have been working together. It's now a top two, but it's likely to be a top three again as Wizard has come back into the frame. But for Gamer, that's very unfortunate. We said about that turn 8, the exit of the, turn 7, the exit that corner, that outside curb just doesn't really sit well. And on those hard tyres, it was probably going to be quite a cautious one to get through, and just a little bit too much of that curb, and that's him spun round, and well, that's probably a race victory gone. However, I say that, you know, there's speculation about the tyres not making it to the end on the medium, so for Gamer, it's not looking good. However, you know, things can still happen in this race that could particularly be affecting him.
Yeah, certainly. I definitely wouldn't count him out for a podium at the moment. Modestroll and Kryptonite have come into the pits. O'Rock, who had a spin at the same place as well. Gamer was very close to Nico. I'm not suggesting that there was contact, but they were very close together. So if we do get to hear from either of them at the end of the race, it will be interesting to see what happened with that. What all this does mean is, though, is Modestroll, he's going to come out to the pits, and he is just going to stay ahead of Tomer. Tomer will have the temperature in his tyres and DRS, but I think the extra grip that Modestroll has got on those softs is going to completely negate that. So he's in 6th place. I think he's in a very good position to possibly, maybe not take the victory, but definitely take a podium. He is 15 seconds off the lead, but only 10 seconds behind Suku. There is still that question, of course, of whether Suku and perhaps Nico and Wizard's mediums will get towards the end.
Well, these soft tyres are very, very quick. Especially, wait for like the next 2 laps. You'll be in 2 laps. You'll be around like a second behind Gamer, probably. I'm not joking, by the way. They are very, very quick. Every single lap, you can already see it just absolutely tearing away from Gamer's time at the moment. Every single corner, he's finding like a 1/10 of a second on those softs compared to the hards, and this is where it's going to come in for Modestroll now. He really needs to make these first few laps really, really count. No mistakes, full flat out, go on, go get it, and you'll be back at the front of the field. So for him, he's just got to ride his race now and see where he can get to. And obviously for Gamer, it's all about potentially just trying to capitalise potentially on the guys out in front. He's 2.4 behind. It doesn't look like he's going to be catching up to them, though, this time around. Unless, of course, there's a punch or any sort of thing happens between these top 3 guys. And, well, these top 3 guys will probably start working together, like I said early on. A lot of this race is going to be working somewhat together, even if they're not teammates. Not pushing each other too much, but just pushing each other to keep that gap from the guys behind who don't have the advantage of the DRS like they do. So expect this race to get very, very juicy indeed in these last laps.
Yeah, certainly. We have got just 11 laps remaining at the moment. We've seen Davidek coming to the pits. He is now in 9th place. Danspreen, I think, finally coming in as well off his mediums. He's going to drop down into 16th position. Risa and Line Violet, the last 2 cars, they are still trundling around at the back of the field. Fair play to them. They're having quite a tough time at the Alfa Romeo team at the moment. Doesn't look like they're going to be getting any points. It looks like Williams are going to be claiming 40 points as things stand, but they have got Gamer not too far behind, and Modestroll catching up ever quicker every single lap. He is flying up to the back of this now 3-way battle for the lead of this race. Suku, Nico and Wizard just over 10 laps remaining. We say Modestroll's looking pretty good. We know he's going to be involved in this fight for the win. How far up can some of the others on the softs get? Kryptonite and Davidek, 8th and 9th at the moment. Perhaps a bit too far back to get a podium, but I'd say a top 5 definitely on the cards.
Yeah, top 5 is definitely in contention for these guys. Maybe not the win, no. Suka goes defensive. I don't think Nico's really looking at overtaking, though. So, interesting for Suka. Probably didn't need to go defensive. I did want to mention, though, Wizard, in this medium stint, he has been very quick. I do have to say, because on the soft stint and everything, he wasn't looking too quick. And here he comes. Is he going to look for a move round the outside? And it looks like Nico is boxed in, and there we go. That's a beautiful move there from Wizard. I was watching the onboard, so I'm not sure how good that was, as Nico has a bit of a snap there. Nico's tyres are perhaps starting to go a little bit flustered, but I wasn't watching offboard. But he obviously did have a little bit of a moment at the exit of the corner, whether that was a bit of a tap there from Wizard. But I do have to say, that was a very confident and very good move there from the Williams driver. If, of course, not exactly too dirty or too much wrong with it. So both Williams, 1 and 2 right now. And, you know, this will be like a bit of a relay for them at the moment. They know they're battling as a team and everything. They're probably just going to settle in for a 1-2 now, or at least attempt for a 1-2 finish.
Yeah, definitely look very clean from my point of view. Fantastic move from Wizard. Gets himself up into second on the back of his teammate. And he has got them fresh and medium tyres. Risa becomes the first retirement of the race in the pit lane. So we are down to 17 runners. Nico's got back within DRS range. But of course, that's allowed Gamer to get ever so slightly closer. And modest roll, as we take a look from the back of the AlphaTauri, you can just see that Haas coming into view. It's just like watching Jaws get closer and closer. That music perhaps starting to play from Gamer's earpiece at this moment in time. Yellow flags are just for the retired car of Risa, so shouldn't cause too much problems for anyone. Wizard used a lot of ERS, I think, getting that move done, as Tomer, I'm not sure if he's had a moment. No, he's just been overtaken by Simon, who's up into 6th place. This has really not been a good second stint from the Aston Martin driver. He's had a couple of moments and now finds himself falling down the field. Might actually be lucky to stay in the points, given that he's got some soft runners starting to hound the back of him.
Yeah, I mean, Tomer's race hasn't exactly gone to plan, and also Simon as well, obviously in danger of that, but particularly Tomer, someone who in the Aston Martin was potentially looking at a potential podium with the two Williams guys, and luck hasn't really gone his way. He's had a few mishaps, of course, with the rear end. He's not really been very good on these medium tyres and everything. He's been stuck behind Simon a lot, and he's got Kryptonite behind him on the soft tyres, absolutely feeding up to the back through every corner onto the back of these two here. So expect Kryptonite to be a little bit more aggressive on these guys to get up to P6, because that's where he wants to be, and P6 is exactly the goal for AlphaTauri. That's what they would want for Gamer. Not too sure where Mo Stroll will be right now. He's closing in, but he actually hasn't closed in quite a lot this lap, I do have to say.
Yeah, I think he's had a slight moment, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure we'd got that gap less than 2 seconds, and it had got up to 2.5 seconds. Kryptonite all over the back of Thomas. Simon goes very defensive. The Aston Martin sort of follows him here. I think we're going to have a free wide moment at the Bahrain Grand Prix. We get plenty of these. It's Ferrari, Aston Martin and AlphaTauri on the inside. Hopefully they all realise each other is there. The Aston Martin and Ferrari getting very close here. Kryptonite's going to get the move done down the inside over that curb, and he's going to get 2 in 2 corners here. Got the inside line. This should be a very straightforward pass on the brakes here. Tomer's going to try and hold on as much as possible. He's just not got the grip to do anything about that. And that is now Kryptonite up into 6th place. He's going to set off and see how far up the field he can get, whether he can catch up to his teammate, whether he can catch up to those medium runners who will really be struggling and might even be at a risk of a puncture at the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see, but he's done fantastically well there. Kryptonite gets up into 6th place. Now we'll see what Davidek can do on the back of these guys, because in that middle sector, unsurprisingly, not able to get a move done.
Yeah, well, Davidek obviously will be looking to kind of mirror what Kryptonite has done. The thing that puts him against it, perhaps, is if Tomer keeps inside the DRS of Kryptonite, could put Davidek's plans off a little bit, which for Kryptonite isn't a bad thing at all. I don't think he'll really worry about his competition. He'll worry about himself and how his teammate is going. His teammate, I don't know if he's got to defend against Mo Stroll this lap. Doesn't look like it. He's got the DRS as Mo Stroll, but not too much, as Davidek actually sends it on Simon early on, but that's definitely compromised him for Tomer, hasn't it? And it does look like Tomer's got DRS, so for Davidek, he's not going to get these two done very, very quickly. So for Kryptonite, he'll be kind of having a sigh of relief, perhaps, that he doesn't have a bit of a challenger at the moment.
Yeah, what might start changing things at the front of the field, you might have just seen there, Suku had to go defensive ever so slightly from Wizards, so those two start acting defensive. That's going to obviously keep Nico in this. He's really got onto the back of these drivers and might bring Gamer and Modestroll in as well, as that is Rudy gets his first, or I believe his second, 3-second time penalty at the moment. He is in 12th place, so it's not going to have a say on the points paying possessions. This is all getting ready for an absolutely scintillating final 6 laps of this Grand Prix. Modestroll now really close to the back of CRG Gamer. He has used a lot of ERS trying to get up to the back. Now, that's not going to cost him too much when he's only trying to overtake one car. Once he gets up to those front 3, who have all got DRS of each other, that might cause himself a bit of a problem as Davidek finally gets the move done before the end of turn 11. Not normally an overtaking opportunity unless you have got the massive tyre advantage that we are seeing from him at this moment in time. And I think we're also going to see what a massive tyre advantage soft versus hards can do very shortly. You can see Gamer there having to push as hard as possible to just try and stop this move from happening, but I think he's an experienced man. He knows there is not a lot he can do. Modestroll's just going to fly down the inside, retake the racing line, and get himself up into 4th place. He's 2 seconds behind the lead trio with 6 laps to go. Can he take this victory from, let's not forget, 16th on the grid?
Yeah, and watch Nico. He's going to send it. Oh, he's hit the back of Suku. No! Poor Suku. He's been leading this whole race, and he looks set to potentially take a victory. And Nico in his Aston Martin. That was quite poor. I think he was going after Wizard. That's what he was going for. Just misjudged his braking a little bit, and that's left him hit Suku. As Suku would be absolutely livid with that. I do have to say, he'd been leading this whole race quite comfortably as well, and had a brilliant performance all race round, and unfortunately that's his win-loss. But obviously I knew what Nico's intention was, not to hit him. It was to get past Wizard, but you know, we just know about the braking on this game and everything. As well, in F1 cars in real life, they are so crisp, they are so fine. 1 millimeter literally longer and everything, it could send you completely going wide and completely off course. So Nico there, very unfortunate, and that's kind of set up Modestroll as well. He's in the DRS of this too, although he will not be closing in on the straights because they'll have the DRS. Modestroll through the corners will be absolutely obliteratingly quick. Now it's all about how quickly he can overtake, and well, Nico's going to take the lead. I'm sure Wizard doesn't really want to defend. I think defending at this point is going to be almost like you're just going to give up your P1 or P2 at this point. Them two have got to work together and make sure Modestroll doesn't get a chance of making it through.
Yeah, certainly. I wonder if Davidek and Kryptonite are going to be working together, or whether they just now think 6th and 7th is the best they can do, as Davidek does get that move done in the Alpine. And I agree with you, we only caught the end of that collision on the stream, but it does look as though Nico's gone for the move on Wizard, just got a bit too deep on the brakes, and obviously Suku, not expecting an Aston Martin to be trying to chuck it down the inside there, has been caught out unfortunately. Andreas retires in the pits, his connection issues costing him too much in the end, deciding it's not worth it carrying on, so he is out of this race. We are down to 17 runners, and we are on board with, I've got to say, probably the likely winner at this moment in time, Modestroll. On those soft tyres, they will be past their best ever so slightly, so this might be difficult now. And just looking at the ERS of everyone, the 2 cars ahead of him, Nico's on a very similar amount of ERS. Wizard has about 10% more.
Yeah, and I think one of the lucky ones, not the lucky ones, one of the ones just to watch out for is Gamer. He's still in this battle, you know. He's still within a second of his time, and those hards, they're going to make it to the end easily. They're not going to drop off too much, and they're going to be in a good sort of situation as we have a safety car
Jensen
right towards the end. That's Jensen, who's obviously succumbed to turn 7, and Gamer, he is going to come into the pits. So this is a big gamble from Gamer, same as Suku. Suku probably doesn't believe in those medium tyres, so these two are going to be quick, but the question is, where are these two going to come out is where they're going to decide where they're going to finish. And it does look like they're going to be falling relatively low. P7, I think, for Gamer, maybe also the same for Suku. P7, Gamer, P6 then. So these two will come out in those positions. These two will be looking very, very dangerous towards the end.
I swear, every single race I've commentated on Bahrain on this game so far, there has been an extremely late safety car. Roundabout now, lap 26. It's only going to stay out for, what, 2 laps maximum? Well, definitely 2 laps, I think. And then we're going to have 2 laps of straight racing with no DRS. It's now Nico in the lead, Wizard in second. Modestroll, those last few laps of those great soft tyres, he's probably not going to be able to do a lot with. Davidek is up to 4th, Kryptonite in 5th, Gamer and Suko only lost 2 positions in all of that. Thomas, Simon, Obrock got a 5-second penalty, so he's going to lose a lot more than that when it comes to the end of the race. They barely lost anything whatsoever, so it's worked out fantastically for them. This just throws an extra spanner in the works for everyone. Who is going to end up taking that victory? Can Nico and Wizard hold on those mediums? They might still get a puncture. Who knows? This will help them stretch the tyres until the end of this race, of course. But, yeah, it's going to be a very fascinating end, I think, now. A lot depends on how quickly can Gamer maybe clear his teammate, Kryptonite, if they are in communication. And I'm sure they are. CRG, both drivers in the CRG stable, and they're one of the most professional teams on the platform in the whole of league racing. Wouldn't be surprising to see if they do come up with something to try and release Gamer, because that's one less car for him to pass. You said don't count him out when he was on the hard tyres. Definitely don't count him out now that he's the first man on a fresh set of softs.
Certainly not, and we already saw how quickly Mode Stroll can catch up on fresh softs compared to Gamer's hard tyres. You got to think these soft tyres, these medium tyres ahead, they're going to be past their prime easily. They're going to be about a second per slower per lap, of course, from Gamer. Gamer has got such an advantage here. The only disadvantage he has is, well, the safety car is probably likely to come in at the end of this lap. He will only have 2 proper laps to get 5 moves done, theoretically 4 moves, because he does have to get, he will probably get past Kryptonite pretty easily. Kryptonite will probably let him through as soon as he possibly can, of course, and like you said, you know, CRG, they work very, very close together, very professional team, of course, one of the top teams in the communities, so yeah, expect those two to work together, and then from Gamer, he's got a lot of experience on this side as well, so when he makes his moves, he knows how to make them. You know, he's experienced the good times and the bad times in terms of making moves, and well, with that experience in his head, he'll have a very, very wise head indeed coming into these final laps.
Yeah, I think the leaders are going to need a very wise head as well. Nico especially, he's got to try and get this restart as good as possible, obviously. Not give Wizard that slipstream and just try to break away from everyone. Normally we see them go quite late out of the final corner here. 2.5 laps to go. We are under the safety car. The final 2 cars have nearly caught up to the back of the pack. That is Line Byler and Dan Screen. And I think with such a short time left, even if they don't catch up to the back of the pack, we will see the safety car come in this lap. They'll be trying anything just to get that extra bit of heat into the tyres. Hopefully we don't see any contacts that lead to 5-second penalties, because that could ruin things for everyone. You're about to see the lights go out now. Bert Mylander goes flying away. This has allowed everyone to get as much ERS as they can physically allow, of course. So 100% ERS for everyone. A final 2-lap sprint race to decide the victory. And unlike at Belgian Grand Prix, at least we're going to get some overtaking when we have 2 laps to see a race. Jensen not happy in the chat there with that retirement, and I think he knows he could have maybe had a better look and a better performance today. Hopefully he'll have a better race next time around. When is Nico going to floor the throttle? He's leaving it quite late, of course. Tries to light up the rears, and I think in the end he's caught Wizard napping ever so slightly, and that has worked out as a very good restart for Nico. We are back underway at the Bahrain Grand Prix. These front 3 cars have got a bit of a run on here, and I think Modestroll's going to try and have a go down the inside on the brakes on Wizard. Can he get the car stopped in time? Wizard's going to have the inside line for turn number 2. He has to back off. What a move from Modestroll, and that puts him under pressure from Davidek now. Gamer's gone round the outside of his teammate Kryptonite, trying to get that move done without casting them, of course. Davidek's weaving one way, then the other to try and get ahead of Wizard. Not able to do so at this moment in time. Suko and Kryptonite are now battling side by side. Those older softs really not working well on the Alpha Tauri. Perfect restart for Nico, though. He now has a 1.3 second lead as Wizard sends one back at Modestroll.
Oh, and look at Gamer! He's got 3 positions in 1! He's absolutely aced that there. And, you know, all these drivers battling Wizard and everything. He's kind of cost himself big time, and he's lost another position there to Modestroll. So these guys have fallen back for Suku and Gamer. It's like they've won the lottery here. They wouldn't have expected there to be so much battling, and Dowdek as well. Pretty good there, but I'm pretty sure that podium is going to be taken away by Suku pretty shortly, as here he goes. Surely he's going to send it here. No, he doesn't. That's actually a surprise for me. I was expecting him to give it a right or go down the inside, and surely now this is a prime opportunity for Gamer, but he's got 1 more lap to do it. No DRS to close in, so he will have no support from that. And you've got to think Nico he will have the ERS, but he is deploying all of it. He is losing all of it. Suku's gone through on Dowerdeck. Tom has gone through as well. So his race has kind of been reignited. So he's had the luck of the draw with the safety car. But onto the final lap here. This couldn't have gone any better for Gamer at the moment. But he's still got a job to do.
Yeah, certainly. He's got to drive the lap of his life. And, of course, he's been too far behind at the easiest overtaking point, so he's got to try and find somewhere different. Kryptonite and Simon battling side by side. There's a bit of contact there, and I think Rudy's going to try and get involved. Marcus Towler, I said he'd had an awful race. He's on the verge of the points here, and he might well get one. We've got a yellow flag again, as that's a car sprinting. That's Mudderstroll. Well outside the points now, and Gamer's done it already. He's gone round the outside at turn 9, and what on earth was that? I was not expecting that move so early. Gamer takes the lead of this race. So much more grip on those soft tyres. And what I thought was going to be a struggle of a final lap, he's got it done well before the final sector.
Yeah, not surprising at all. Nico through turn 5 and turn 6 through the S section had a little bit of a dodgy rear there. And look at Suku now. He's got a brilliant opportunity. It's do or die really through the last corner for him. Gamer's going to win this race. Second place is not decided here though. Nico and Suku, they've got one last chance. Nico's got no more ERS to use. Suku, he should have really gone more into that. He's got P2 there because a little bit of a lock-up from Nico, but he had probably more grip. But Gamer's going to win this race then all of a sudden. And I said watch out for him with a couple laps to go. I wasn't expecting it to be done in this fashion. The safety car, oh my goodness, that safety car at the end has really aided him. And not only that, the scuffling up in front. Of course, everyone wants to win, but if you want to win too hard, you sacrifice yourself, you sacrifice others, and, well, a bit of a lesson needs to be learned for some of them, because for Gamer, in my opinion, it's a win, but I think he was giving it a bit too easy, per se, but you can't deny, though, he's had a brilliant performance here at the end to get past all those cars, and, you know, I already said, you know, he's an experienced, level-headed young man, he knows what he's doing, and a driver, obviously, with a lot of experience in league racing, and yeah, wise head, as I said, and that's the reason why he's won today. Wise head, he knew these guys would be battling a lot, just kept out of danger, and he took the victory in his AlphaTauri.
Yeah, wise head and a cool head as well. Let's not forget he did have that half spin. He takes the victory from second on the grid. Suku, another driver, he had that spin earlier on, that contact, I think, with Nico, and if it weren't for that, maybe he could have got the victory, but he'll be very happy with second place. Nico is in third place. Davidek, 13th to 4th. He gets the in-game driver of the day. Great job from him. Wizard in 5th. That contact with Mudderstroll possibly costing both of them a chance at the victory. Simon in 6th. Obrock in 7th. He did that extra pit stop to get rid of the 5-second penalty. Turned out to be a genius move. Thomas' penalty on the final lap dropped him to 8th. Marcus Towler and Kryptonite pick up the final points of the race. Danspreen just misses out in 11th. Line Violet was 12th. Rudy, the final finisher. Mudderstroll retired on the final lap. Jensen's retirement calls for safety car. Andreas had the connection issues. We saw Risa retire in the pit lane, and Messina picked up a disqualification. We missed all of that happening at the end of the race with all the various bits of chaos that was going on. That was the Bahrain Grand Prix. That was extremely exciting, I think it's fair to say.
I think at the end, I don't think anyone was surprised in that sort of ending. We already mentioned that anyone could win that race and everything. You know, out those top 4, Wizard looked quick on his second stint. Moj Troll, of course, was, you know, at the time before the safety car, was probably the favour to win that race, and obviously the leader of Nico and everything. He'd been up there with them for like a lot of the time, but you know, everyone at the front gave it a really good go. And you know, I said, Gamer, watch out for him. These medium tires weren't going to last forever. Those hard tires, they would last forever, of course, and they would be in a better condition at the end of the race. So I knew he would be dangerous at the end, but winning it would have been a long shot. But that safety car's come out. I tell you what, it still would have been a rather long shot. But you know, a lot of people were just battling with each other. They were being clumsy. I think it was through turn 8 as well, that hairpin there. 2 or 3 cars went a little bit wide, and you know, it just opened the door for Gamer. And with that grip, he'd have all the confidence in the world to just put his foot on the pedal and go and get that P2 position. And then from then in out with Nico knew he was coming. But through turn 6, turn 7, you know, it was always going to be difficult on those old mediums. He was swerving about a bit, and on the exit lost the rear a little bit, and it opened him up. It opened him up for Gamer to take the position nice and early, and you know, very, very confident was him and Suku on those last couple of laps to get past and get those positions, and particularly Suku. He'll be feeling a little bit thankful he got himself on the podium, but I think he will be dreading it a little bit because his victory may have been stolen tonight.
Yeah, certainly. It was looking very good, putting in a good performance on those medium tyres, but we saw Lewis say in the chat that he didn't think those mediums were going to last until the end of the race, and we never got to see whether they did. That late safety car, Jensen, involved in an incident. He had a bit of bad luck today, getting involved in various issues, but yeah, it was all kicking off, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it was kicking off definitely in those last laps, and this is what happens when the safety car comes out very late. Like, all the cars just get bundled up and everyone realizes I've got an opportunity again to make up some position. So they all go a bit crazy. Some people get it done absolutely perfectly right, such as Suku and Gaiman, and there's people who don't get it so right. And perhaps at the restart, Wizard and Mode Stroll, perhaps the two people of examples of that. So, it's a win for some people, it's a lose for other people when it came to that safety car.
Yeah, it is. Thankfully, though, well, great for us. We got to see absolutely fantastic action. I think it's time to maybe get some of our top drivers in from the podium. We are going to do some interviews, and we are going to start off with a man who took the victory in that race. It looked likely at one bit, then it looked unlikely, then it looked likely again. It is CRG Gamer. Fantastic performance from yourself. I bet after that spin at turn 7, you didn't expect to be standing on the top step of the podium today.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy race, really. Yeah, the spin was not ideal on that curve, but thankfully I spun round in a way that I was facing the right way to get back on the track. Otherwise, I think I'd have lost a lot more time. But yeah, the safety car definitely helped at the end. I'm not sure how it would have been without it with the medium runners, because I was definitely expecting them to suffer a lot more than they did. But yeah, the safety car helped, and then the battles up ahead just allowed me the pathway through, and even got the extra point in fastest lap, so it worked pretty perfectly in the end.
Yeah, it did work fantastically well for you in the end. You did that extra lap in qualifying to get yourself further up the grid. Is that what forced you in the end to go for the hard tyres? If it wasn't for that, do you think you might have been tempted by the soft mediums, or was soft hard always going to be your strategy?
Well, judging by other leagues there's been around this track, I sort of assumed that the soft hard was probably slightly better towards the end of the race. With the alternate strategy being quite good here, the harder tyres being better at the end tends to help keep them behind. So yeah, that was always the plan. Yeah, I was quite confused when they were going so long, because I mean I could have gone slightly longer on the softs, but I didn't want to risk being undercut, and I knew the hards are quite a consistent tyre. So yeah, that was definitely always the plan, and yeah, I was just hoping that they'd be better towards the end, but obviously they didn't quite go to plan the way I thought it was going to.
No, I don't think anyone expected that at the end of the race. Sam, do you have any questions for Gamer?
Any questions, but of course, congratulations on your win for tonight, and hopefully we can see more of it this season, more of the entertainment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, certainly. I'll let you head off and celebrate your win. It's a Friday night, so maybe you can celebrate a bit harder than usual.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cheers for joining us. We're now going to get the man who finished in second position. Came, well, at one bit, we thought he might end up taking the victory. It is Suku. Suku, fantastic recovery from yourself to claim second place. If it wasn't for that incident with Nico, though, maybe it could have been a win. Oh, he's disappeared. We'll try to see if we can get him back. Suku, can you, I believe you're muted. Can you hear us?
He's muted at the moment, so...
Suku, if you can hear us, are you able to unmute yourself? Don't think he is able to hear us, unfortunately, which is a shame. Would have been interesting to see what his thoughts were on that incident, obviously, with Nico. We're going to try and see, actually, if we can maybe get Nico into the commentary box. Nico, can you hear us? You are on mute at the moment. Seems our drivers are going. I think they're all performing a bit of a Kimi Räikkönen tribute act and keeping very quiet tonight, it seems to be. We'll leave it a few minutes maybe and try to get them both to come in again, and we'll just talk about Well, like Gamer said, he thought the soft hard strategy would be the best one, and judging by the pace he had up until that spin, he was staying within DRS range. I've got to say, it looked like that would have been the right case.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that a lot of the other drivers did try and gamble onto the softs. I was expecting, it was a late safety car, so a lot of them were probably like 50-50 on the decision. But I was expecting particularly the two medium tire runners who obviously only have Mode Stroll really behind them to actually pit on to the fresh softs, because they were not going to win that race if, say that safety car came in and Mode Stroll was behind them. They were not going to win it. Mode Stroll would have won that race if obviously none of the likes of Gamer pitted, for example. If they didn't pit, it would have been Mo Stroll's victory. So I was slightly surprised that Wizards or at least one of them, Wizard or Nico, didn't pit. But obviously for Nico and everything, he kept it onto the podium. The other two didn't. Of course, I think those were the two caught up in a bit of incidents further back, which opened the door for Gamer to obviously take his victory tonight. But for Nico, fair play to him on the old soft tire, medium tires that he had. He kept it in P3, so fair play to him. And I think I did see a twitch of the mic going on and off there for Nico, so he may have fixed his problem out.
Yeah, well, we'll try Nico again first. We'll get him into the commentary box. Nico, can you hear us at all?
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Congratulations on getting that podium. It was a very, very exciting end to the race. You had a brilliant restart. In the end, couldn't hold on though on the mediums.
Yeah. It was a difficult race at the end because there were many drivers with soft tires. So my tires were like dead, and it was impossible to resist to Gamer and Soku, I think. Yeah, Soku. And the race was, I think, 75% of the race, really good. And at the end, that mistake against Soku was not expected. And I think that the race was like ruined. But we'll see in the post race after posting videos. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Tell us about that incident with Suku. Was it just a slight misjudgment trying to go for a move on Wizard, because the three cars were very close at the time?
Yeah, it was like a 3 battle for the lead, and I tried to overtake Wizard. And I misjudged the braking point, and I finished into Soku's rear back, and it was it.
Yeah, still a good recovery from yourself. Sam, do you have any questions?
Yeah, when you saw, or when I guess you would have heard about some of the drivers such as Gamer and everything pitting for fresh softs. Did you have a sort of thought in the back of your mind that you've made a mistake there and perhaps you should have pitted onto the fresh softs as well?
I mean, I didn't want it to pit because it was like the end of the race, and I'm expecting a penalty. So the goal was to stay in first position and try to push on the final part of the race. To try to gain some time to the cars behind, but I don't think it was possible because they were with fresh soft tires, and but I'm happy, but not at all.
Yeah, well, of course, congratulations on your podium. I'm sure, like the rest of these drivers, Suku and Gamer, this won't be the last time that you'll be here. I'm sure you will be here again. And yeah, congrats to your podium today, and hope to see you again potentially soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to Nico then on getting third position. It doesn't look like we are going to hear from Suku, unfortunately. I mean, those were the three people who ended up on the podium. Like Nico says, he expects that he might get a penalty, but at various points in that race, we had absolutely no clue which way the podium was going to go. Modestroll looked fantastic at one point. Wizard was up there. We even thought Kryptonite and Davidek at various points might end up. It looks like we are going to have a fantastic season.
Yeah, it was a very unpredictable one in the end, and it's what we love to see in it. Unpredictability. It's what F1 fans in real life come to see. A lot of the races that particularly have a lot of unpredictability tend to obviously be the best races, as we well know. Well, maybe not for Belgium because it was unpredictable, the weather, but it was exactly a great race, was it? If you want to call it a race, but most of the time, let's just say that unpredictability does cause good races, and tonight was an absolute cracker. Before the safety car, of course, we saw some brilliant moves. I've just seen Lars's move again, or Wizard's move, on the outside of Nico, and it was an absolutely fabulous move. That was class around the outside from him in his Williams, and it's those moves that we love to see as racing fans, of course, and unpredictability and just top quality racing, and that's what we saw tonight, and maybe a little bit of a foreshadowing for the rest of the season, perhaps.
Yeah, certainly. I thought we are going to get some more fantastic racing going here at WOR. The next one will be on Sunday, where it is time for the PC drivers to have a go. It will be George Morgan and Ginger Andy at 7 p.m, taking us through the action at round number 4 of the season, I believe, for those guys at the Canadian Grand Prix. You've also got the top tier Xbox action on a Monday, alongside tier 3 on the PlayStation, and lower tier action Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. That'll be from Japan, before we're back alongside PS tier 2 Friday 8 p.m for the Japanese Grand Prix. Thank you for all the drivers for putting on a fantastic race. Thanks to Nico and Gamer for joining us in the commentary box. Thanks for Sam for commentating alongside me as well. And thanks most importantly to all you guys watching. We will see you in a week's time at Suzuka. Gamer takes the first victory of the season. Will he be able to make it a joyful 2 out of 2 at the Japanese Grand Prix? Take care, everybody, and goodbye.